Every pickleball player has undoubtedly heard some sort of complaint about the scourge of bangers playing the game improperly at their local courts. Many veteran players disparage and look down on the new aggressive style of play scores of players are adopting. Pickleball has traditionally been centered around the soft game up at the kitchen. Dinks and other conservative, unattackable shots dominated the sport for years, giving rise to the game we see today. For all intents and purposes, the soft game at the net has become ingrained into pickleball and has transcended just being a style of play, instead becoming the only way to play. It's only natural then that the exact opposite style of play that's embodied by Dinkers is so often scorned. In fact, the very word banger itself has almost become an insult to a player's skill. But in spite of this, we're starting to see a sure shift in the wider pickleball landscape towards a faster, more aggressive sport. Bangers aren't just new players who don't understand the proper way to play. No. They're reaching the highest echelons of professional play and dominating. This, of course, begs the question, what will the relationship be between the soft game and the emerging aggressive play we're seeing? Well, first of all, let's make one thing abundantly clear. Dink battles are going nowhere. The emergence of high-paced play will not and cannot simply erase the soft game at the net. Similarly, there won't be a resurgence of traditional pickleball that will put an end to bangers. These two styles of play will coexist at all levels of play. Why? It's because they naturally counterbalance each other. Now, what do I mean by this? Let's take a look at a couple of examples to illustrate my point. So let's assume two teams of similar skill play against each other. One team are Dinkers and the other are bangers. Our team of Dinkers managed to hit a good third shot drop and are right up at the kitchen line. What happens next? Well, if they hit a good third shot drop, the bangers can't really smash the ball back. What does that mean? Well, it means they're forced to dink. Assuming that our Dinkers are skilled at the soft game, they should have no trouble largely controlling the point from there. Moreover, if their opponents try to speed up the point prematurely, they can easily be punished or reset by our Dinkers. On the flip side, let's look at the perspective of the bangers. If they're good at what they like to do, hitting the ball with lots of pace and speeding up the play, they can easily capitalize on the mistakes of their opponents. All it takes is one pop-up to afford them the chance to speed up a rally and enact their hyper-aggressive playstyle. Once they clear that initial hurdle, all the pressure is on their opponents to reset or match their speed. So we see that Dinkers and bangers almost naturally counterbalance each other. Neither style of play, all else being equal, is necessarily better than the other. The success of each is largely dependent on the players themselves rather than the tactic. That brings us to another point, that being why bangers are generally looked down upon in pickleball. Well, there's a pretty simple reason why most people think of bangers as unskilled. The majority of bangers in pickleball are lower level players. Specifically, they tend to be casual players who have not yet mastered or understood the soft game. Because of this, they tend to simply smack the ball whenever the opportunity arises, regardless of strategy or any other external factors. These players usually see their growth stunted around the 3-5 level, and as such, most bangers coalesce in the depths of lower play. Their lack of pickleball knowledge, desire to change, or overall attitude towards the sport hold them back. Additionally, this style of play is also easily countered by higher level Dinkers, a fact that further feeds into the cycle of veteran players' beliefs about the superiority of the traditional soft game. Now, in spite of all of this, we are seeing a change in the highest level of pickleball play. Bangers with hyper-aggressive styles are rocking the pickleball world. Most notably, young Annalie Waters and her mother have come to shake up the women's game. Many other pros are also coming into a more offensive style of pickleball as the sport develops and its pace increases. Firefights at the net are becoming far more common and explosive, third shot drives are emerging to challenge the traditional drop, and the game is clearly changing. Bangers are forcing their competition to match their speed or get left behind entirely. This process is nothing new in sport. Pickleball is simply undergoing a natural change in the way that it is most optimally played. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. There's plenty of room for more aggression, speed, and flair. The old ways won't be let go forever. High-level players will of course need an excellent soft game alongside speeding up their play to match those bangers. The soft game is a perfect counter for bangers and vice versa after all, so they'll exist together and develop to counter each other as the game continues to evolve. In the end, there is no right way to play pickleball. Bangers have unlocked the door to the evolution of the sport, and any player can excel if they actually put in the work to develop their game. Expect to see a rise in unorthodox styles of play in the future. Dinkers versus bangers was just the beginning. The future of pickleball is looking quite interesting as it develops its identity going forward. What this exactly means for the sport, well, no one can really say for certain. But I do have a pretty good feeling that it's going to be one hell of a ride.